I had an anniversary coming up with my husband. We went to this fancy diner. It's kind of a very nice place where we first met. However, I learned something that night when my husband slid me a piece of paper. I opened it up thinking it might be a spa getaway or something amazing, maybe even a cruise. Do you know what it was? It was divorce papers. The anniversary dinner ended in tears, and I did not even know what to even do. This is OP. They said that marriage was going to be hard, but I was willing to deal with it. My marriage was sometimes fun and sometimes difficult, but we never stopped loving one another. Through all the trials, we promised that we would choose each other no matter what. But there was always one person who loved the other a bit too much, and it was me. It's always been me, and when I love with all my heart and with no doubt, and in the past when I've ever had doubt, I've followed my instincts and left. It even got to a point where I thought that I was never going to get married. Then he came into my life and stole my heart. He never showed any of his red flags until we were married. He managed to gaslight me into thinking that I was the problem, that I was seeing things that were not there, and all of that's been leading up to this day when I'm feeling so embarrassed. This is the lowest point of my life, and I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get up at this point. All of this when I wanted to tell him good news. Guess he'll never hear about them now. 2 days ago, it was the 3rd anniversary of my wedding. I planned a very big thing. We had a day on a boat and went to see a classical music concert, did everything that he liked, and ended it off with dinner. I had an envelope for him, which contained a surprise while he had the same for me. I was very curious to find out what it was that he wanted to give me, so I asked if, I could see the gift first. He gave me the envelope. I opened it. It was divorce papers! My face fell, my legs lost strength, and I was frozen. When I looked up at him, he had a stoic expression, like what he had done was very normal. I thought that maybe it was a prank. So then I started to laugh and told him to show me my new gift. He sighed and told me that sadly we could not do this anymore. He wanted to give me one last good day before he told me that he had to leave me. I got up and faced him, looking at him for a very long time. So then I asked the question, why was he leaving me? He said that I was going to find out anyways, but he had fallen in love with my stepsister. He had a lot more in common with her, so he felt that he should marry her instead of me. You see, my father had married another woman after my mom's passing. He has kids with that woman, and I have very little to no contact with him because my stepmom left my dad after a certain amount of years of being together. I'm not sure if I have a stepsister or not, so when my husband said that he was leaving me for my stepsister, I wondered where they met. I don't want to, but now I curse ever having step-siblings. The wind was knocked out of me. My whole body was trembling after my husband said those words. Imagine coming from a euphoric high to such a low feeling. It's the most horrible feeling I could ever feel. I began to feel very nauseous, so I took my gift and decided to leave the restaurant. He did not come home that night. He did text me, however, and told me that he wanted to talk about the way forward. When I got home, I ripped his entire gift to shreds, and guess there was no need for it then. About 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with Graves' disease. I had to undergo medication for a long time, and could not have had any children for that time. It was not safe for me to have a kid, so my husband and I just have been waiting patiently. Finally, the doctor told me I was in the clear to start my own family. I wanted to surprise him and make him happy because he's been wanting to be a father for a very long time. Well, turns out that he did not even want to be with me anymore. Yeah, that's right. Not even at all. What was about me? Was it that I was no longer pretty enough for him? Well, not to seem very vain or anything, but I take care of my body and my skin. I know that I still look good. Maybe it was the fact that I was not spending enough time with him. That's why he had to go and just get with somebody else. Well, I spent the whole night thinking and rehashing the past few years. It was then I realized the signs have always been there, but I was nothing more than a fool. My husband is a successful pharmacist, while I'm a physiotherapist. We're both very, very successful people, and have comfortable lives as well. We also run in some of the more elite circles in our community, I would say. So, sometimes I have lunches with the wives of his friends, most of whom are just housewives, and one day one of them told me that she found my husband on a dating app. What would she even be doing there, you might ask? Well, it is an open secret that she and her husband, they do branch out, if you know what I mean. Well, I got a screenshot of the profile and showed my husband when I arrived at home. When he saw the profile, he laughed and asked, "Where did I get that?" Well, the name on the profile was not his, but the pictures were all his. So I told him that I got the profile, and he told me that it was obviously a fake profile. I've heard that sometimes people make fake profiles to scam people, so I helped him contact the dating site about the fake profile. What got me more convinced that it was not him was the fact that the profile wasn't even verified, right? I trusted my husband. He would never look at the woman while I was there. So, but now it just appears that I was oh so wrong. Over the past few months, he's been staying later at work. He's also not been very attentive and seems to not be getting much sleep. Could it be because of the affair partner of his that he wants to leave me for? Well, last night, I cried till I had no tears left. This morning I woke up and I thought to myself that I am beyond this. At least I found out before I had kids with that idiot. He saved me. I mean, guys, I'm still young and can rebuild my life. On the other hand, I'm going to make sure that I milk him for all that he's worth in this big old divorce we're going to go through. He really wants to marry my stepsister, so you know what? Let him do it. I'm going to keep our house, the boat, the holiday house, and anything else that I see fit. They say that money cannot buy happiness, but it sure does make a divorce less sour. Today, I'm meeting up with one of the best divorce lawyers in town. A friend of mine has actually used him for 2 of her divorces, and, she has come on top each time. After that, I'm going to be doing the favor of letting everyone know that we are divorcing. I've already told him to come and fetch his trash from my house. If Harry wants to leave, so be it. I'm not going to beg him. He's never going to find someone like me who babysits him and always puts him first. He'll not find anyone who'll be able to compete with his mom, as Mom has specific requirements for him. It took me years before she even approved of me. She said that none of his exes had the grit that I did. Oh, I've just gotten a message from his mom. She's tried calling, but I will talk to her later. She's shocked and feels blindsided by all of this. She wants to know if she's been having problems and why we did not tell her about it. She even suggested to us couples therapy. And, well, she says there's no way that he can think that and just leave. She's fuming right now, and I can imagine the lecture that he's going to get when she sees him. I don't feel sorry for him at all. I feel sorry that she needs to knock some sense into him and tell him that he's making the biggest mistake of his life. We're about to start a family, and he did not even know. Instead, he decided to run into someone else's arms and dump me on our anniversary. He should have at least had the common decency and told me about it before the anniversary. I would have preferred it before so that I would not have paid and organized for so many things that he did not even deserve. He should actually be careful. He has no idea what fresh hell I have planned for him. He will wish that he's never fallen for what glitters because you know what? It's not gold. Yeah, you may even be wondering what I'm hinting at. Well, you guys, I'll be back with another update. I want to thank you guys for reading this so far, though. Yet, I'm completely heartbroken and I don't know how to move forward now. Please, tell me anything that would help me out in this situation. I look forward to your comment, guys. Anyways, thank you so much for reading. Update number 1. Hey, it's OP again. It's been 2 weeks now, and Harry's the happiest I've ever seen him, well, at least in a while. With his gorgeous little fiancée, it's sickening. I've managed to avoid being in the same room as them, but I know all there is to know about her since she is my so-called stepsister, Haille. She's stunning, athletic, and, well, did I mention very, very wealthy? Yeah, that's right, very wealthy. She says that she has investments all over the world and is supposedly making millions of dollars every year. Harry's been bragging about her to me every time that we meet to discuss the divorce. He's so excited to leave me so that he can just be with his more stunning, rich girlfriend. His mother is fuming, and this might signal their estrangement. I never thought that I would see the day that his mother took my side over his, but you know what? That day is here. She came to visit me so that we could discuss a way going forward. I laid every single thing out on the table, including the so-called fake dating profile and the fake fact that I've been sick. Well, I told her that I planned to tell him that I was now able to have kids at the anniversary. Well, but he threw those papers in my face, and yes, I do mean metaphorically at least. She was horrified to learn of all this and just could not believe that her son was so darn stupid. She said that we've worked so hard for our life together and now we want to just start over. She said that he was making a large mistake, and when she met Haile, she was even more convinced that it was going to be a disaster. She came to me with the latest gossip about Haile and her son. She told me that the girl did not even cook or do chores. She slept till noon and never seemed to want to go to work. She was living in an apartment with my ex, and my mother-in-law said that the place did not even look like a home. My mother-in-law was actually saddened by all this. Yeah, by the fact that me and her son were splitting. And till the end, she complained that her son was going to be miserable without me. Well, she seemed to hope that one day he would snap and get back to me, but he did not. Even if he did, there's no way in hell I was going to even take him back. I mean, come on. Not when I knew that the person he was marrying was my stepsister, had a lot that she was not telling him. All I have to do, guys, is act dumb and just watch him destroy himself. He'll beg for mercy soon enough, and I just have to be patient. Well, anyways, I appreciate you guys have been so patient with me since I've been holding on to a very important detail here. But I will reveal that when the time is right. Please, stay with me. Update number 2. Hey guys, so it's actually been a few months since my update, but I had been busy not thinking about my ex until now. Well, right after my divorce was finally finalized, I took a leave off from work and decided to go on a little road trip. I've been wanting to for years, but that man I was married to just hated it. He wouldn't let me, and I must say that it was one of the most freeing experiences in my entire life. I practiced a lot of self-care, met a lot of few people, and had some interesting experiences as well. While I was there, I got one of the best gigs of my life. I was, to be the physiotherapist of a famous athlete for almost 2 full months, since his usual one was out of the country. I grabbed the job with both hands. For those months, all I did was work. I kept my mind away from all that's happened. I did not let myself dwell on loneliness and betrayal. I told myself that I just had to get through one more day. I could do it. I was strong, and you know what? I was worthy. I got to a point where I had to block my former mother-in-law's number because she kept on giving me updates about their relationship. The last thing I heard about them, they were engaged to be married. Well, I came home not long before their wedding, and by then I was so unbothered. So I agreed to dinner at Haile's house when she invited me, where I was able to have one of my first conversations with Haile. Well, Haile knew quite a lot about me. But I did not know much about her, but you know what? I didn't have to. I found her peculiar, just to say the least, and I became even more convinced of something. She was hiding something so sinister that if my ex found out, he would leave her. If I were a good person, I would have told him, even after what he's done to me. The only issue was that I was no longer the same person that I was just a few months ago. Now I was ruthless and was going to let this play out. Haile probably knew that I knew, and you know what? Was shocked that I did not call her out. I wasn't going to. I was going to let her achieve all that she wanted to, and you know what? I was charming, I was funny, and jolly right there during the dinner. But in the end, I wished them the best of luck in their wedding days, and days later, I received an invitation to the wedding, and of course I'm going to be going there. It's going to be the wedding of the century, and I would not miss it for anything. I heard rumors in town that hundreds of thousands of dollars actually went into the wedding. Well, I'll update you guys in just a little bit. Update number 3. Guys, do you know what my favorite saying is? Revenge is a dish best served cold. It's even better when cold water's poured over the head of the person who's wronged you. I must say that it is one of the most beautiful things that I ever could have graced my eyes on. Today has been an epic day, and I wish that you've been there to see it. Luckily for you, I was there to see it inside 4K, and I'll tell you about every single detail, okay? Without even leaving out a thing. Today, my ex-husband got married to my so-called stepsister. My stepsister did not invite her family, and she said that they didn't have a good relationship, so I decided to invite them. I called my stepmom and told her about her daughter's wedding. Contacting them led to further proof that I needed to confirm where I knew this girl from. I was not losing it, and I had been right to let this play out, guys. The greatest part about this was that all was revealed after they got married. After they said their vows with no objections, my ex-mother-in-law chose not to come to the wedding. It was time for speeches. So I decided to allow Haille's mom to make a speech. Well, at least people think that Haille is a stepmom's daughter. I've been waiting for this moment for oh so long. You should have seen the color leaving Haille's face. I smiled triumphantly. This was going to be so good. My stepmother went up to the stage and then she started to speak. She said that she had heard that Haille was getting married and she was absolutely shocked. She even never thought that her daughter would ever get married. Why? Because she did not even have a daughter. Cue people being confused, and she went on to say that the woman sitting over there was an imposter. She was not my stepsister. She was a homeless drug addict. That's right. That's correct. Haille's a scammer, and I've suspected she's a scammer for months. About a year ago, she was a patient of mine who had a serious drug and alcohol issue. While she was young and beautiful, she was troubled. She looked much thinner than she does now, and she talked about her personal life and told her about him, including the fact that my husband works at a pharmacy. She must have concocted a plan to seduce my husband so that she could get access to his pharmacy. She then somehow managed to fake being rich and seduce him. Well, like the fool he was, obviously he fell for it. He didn't even think for a second that I've never introduced that woman to him. Oh, she was probably very convincing because she knew a lot about me. When I saw her, I knew that I did not have a stepsister and this person was an absolute imposter. It took me a while for me to remember who she was, but I remembered. I did more investigations on her and found out that she used to be a rich heiress who got cut out of the family due to her extensive drug use. She could never remain clean and would do anything to get her next fix. She must have thought that marrying a person who worked in a pharmacy was going to give her some sort of untethered access to drugs. Yeah, her plan was pretty elaborate, and it was scary that it was about to work. The lengths that some people will go to get a fix is just so shocking to me. It always has been. Well, I'd briefly confronted Haille the day I went to her house for dinner. She told me that she fell in love with my husband and how that they met a place down the road by coincidence. Blah, blah, blah. But the moment she claimed that she was my stepsister to my ex, she lost the game. It led me to be more suspicious of her, and I did more digging to see where she's coming from. You see, I knew all along that I had no stepsister, because even if I was in no contact with my step-siblings any longer, at least I'd spent enough years to know that my stepmom did not have a daughter, nor did I have a stepsister for that matter. Well, Haille was petrified after it was revealed that she was an imposter. She thought that she would make a fool out of everyone, but how could she? It was such a white lie, and I could see the wheels turning in her head as she tried to figure out how to lie this time. My ex-husband also seemed almost in disbelief. The next thing I knew, he stood up and come to grab me. Oh, okay. I could barely get a word out as he dragged me to another room. He shouted at me, asking me what I thought I was doing. He said that I was clearly obsessed with him since I was pulling such a stunt to get him back. I told him that it's no stunt, and that if he wants evidence, I have that too. He told me that I could have easily fabricated some sort of evidence. How come I did not tell him the truth about her when I first saw her? Well, I told him that I did not care about what happened to him and wanted to see how things would play out. Why would I ever, and I mean ever, have sympathy for him when he dropped me like a bunch of hot potatoes as soon as a more beautiful woman came into the picture? I reminded him that he once had a dating profile and tried to get other women but lied to me about it. Other people must have laughed at me for even believing him, and he told me to shut up. I'd went to ruin the wedding and regretted invited me. He said that I was acting very, very childish and jealous of his wife who was more youthful looking and beautiful than me. He said that even though I claimed she was homeless, she looked way better than I did. More better than I ever could. Well, yeah, it kinda stung to hear him say that about me, but I had to remind myself that he was just saying all of this to hurt me. I tried to tell him the truth, but he chose to believe that liar. It was his funeral and my work was done here. I did not even go back into the main room. I just texted someone to take my bag for me and then I drove home. I spent some time stewing over this and then decided that I wanted to redecorate some of my rooms. Well, once I was done with that, I decided to take a nap, but I was awoken by many missed calls from him. It was early in the morning. I'm at no liberty to answer his calls, and he said that his wife, who is not who she says she is. Then, you know what? It's not my problem. He's about to have his whole world come crashing down, and I will revel in it. My revenge is going to be so much sweeter than I initially thought. Anyways, let me try to go back to sleep, I guess. Update number 4. Hey guys, it's been a few weeks and now my ex is in tears and asking me for help. He wants all of the evidence that I have against that woman because he wants to track her down. The thing is that she had a fair warning that someone was on to her, so she must be far away now. When he called me, it was after he had woken up to find out that she was gone. After they got married, they went to their honeymoon destination, which obviously he paid for. After that, she claimed that she was going to take him to see her mansion. He said that confirmed for him that she was rich, as she told him. So he went to sleep early and woke up in the middle of the night to find out that she was gone. She had cleaned him out dry. That's right, talking his credit cards, his valuables, and even some of his clothing. He did not even have money for a return ticket. He had no choice but to block all his cards and just try to work with the bank to track her down. Well, guess what? They did track her. But in the end, she got away. He had to beg his family to send him money to come back, and he's going to land later on today. I've just spoken to his mom, and she says that she went to his apartment and was denied entry. So, apparently the person who was renting the apartment had not paid in, I'd say about 3 months. The apartment was in her name so that she could trick him into thinking that she had money. It also appears that he paid for the wedding dress because she claimed that a huge chunk of her money was stuck overseas. She played that part well, wearing these expensive clothings, and introduced him to business partners he never even Googled or did his research. How could he when she was so gorgeous, so well-spoken, and absolutely smart? I guess coming from a rich family helped her blend in and trick him into thinking that she was rich. Well, the whole time she was using him for money, and also just to help her feed her addiction. I wonder where she is right now and if they'll find her. Maybe she's already looking for another stupid fool to trick. I'm so grateful to her, though, because she helped me open up my eyes. I was blinded by my love for him that I did not realize he would dump me the very second he had a chance. I'll admit that I was very heartbroken, but now I'm happy and relieved that he got what was coming for him. Now he wants my help to nail her. I'll give the evidence over, but only if the cops ask for it. He'll need to press charges for that to happen, and the whole town's going to know that he's been made a fool of. It's his turn now to be embarrassed because in the past it was always me. I mean, the fact that Haille did go ahead and just straight up steal everything because she knew that she was caught, basically. She was about to be tipped off, so she couldn't use her new husband for those pharmaceuticals that she oh so wanted. But then she took everything, his belongings, his bank account, his credit cards, and then she just disappeared into the night. I want to know what you guys think of this, and obviously, I want to know what you think about OP's significant other, which was leading to be her ex. What would you have done in this situation? Guys, let's talk about it in the comment section. Today's story was a wild one, and I personally could not even imagine finding myself in that position. Anyways, let's talk about it down below, guys. My name's Mr. Reddito. I animate stories like this every day. I hope you guys enjoyed, and for more daily stories, hit the subscribe button. Check out in the description down below for all my favorite playlists, my other channels, and all the links down there. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you tomorrow, and of course, remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.